Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
Caroline, you should tell them about the newest thing that Bloody Happy Hour is doing.
A Patreon.
It's a Patreon. What is that?
That means you're basically like a VIP member, and there's 2 different levels that you can, subscribe to, and you get some perks. You maybe get like merch a little earlier. You get
exclusive merch.
You could get first dibs on signing up for a live show. You get episodes with no commercials.
You get our video because our video is no longer available on YouTube. It is only on Patreon. And the most important to me is you get videos of our live shows. So if you are far away and you couldn't make our last live show, it will be on the website. We're going to record this future live show. It's going to be on Patreon, but also bonus episodes each month. You guys tell us all the time you want more episodes. This is a way for you to get more episodes. So you're going to get our basic Tuesday, Thursdays that we always put out, right? But if you're on a Patreon, you're VIP, you're going to get more.
I can't wait to talk about in detail some more stories because I always have a lot of details I want to go to. I can law-splain. I might read a book.
They just unsubscribed. This is also going to be the exclusive place that Dirty Chat is going to go to. So if that is breaking some of your hearts, just go ahead and subscribe now. In order to hear the full content, it's going to be Patreon. Where do they go again?
Patreon.com/bloodyhappyhour.
Don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
Thirsty Thursday here. Except for I went to the liquor store yesterday.
Oh, same.
And got some vodka and some tequila just to have. And I was like, oh, I'll have it before we record. And guess where it is?
At home.
Oh,
That's where it should
right.
be. Mm-hmm.
So I'm drinking some water.
Well, I mean, at least you're staying hydrated. I'm going to not be drinking water tomorrow. We're going to go to a city that's pretty close to us. You may know somebody there. You may know this person. Who is it? It's Darlene Gentry. And Darlene Gentry is from Robinson, Texas. For all you Robbie Rockets out there, your Rockets.
Robinson Rockets.
Mm-hmm.
She is one reason why nurses are red flags.
Well, this lady is a little sus, obviously.
Let's go.
So, the morning of November 9th, 2005, it was just past 6 a.m. Darlene made a frantic 911 call. Tapes of the call recording her saying, did we have an actual audio recording tape? I don't think so. It says, I got up this morning. I was in my son's room because they didn't sleep. My back door was open. My husband's guns are all gone. And there's blood on the bed. And he's gurgling. And he has pink foam coming from out of his mouth. And he's making this god-awful sound. That's very descriptive.
Yeah.
So when officers arrive, they find the missing guns are neatly stacked in the front yard. Okay. The scene didn't make much sense to the officers at the time because why would somebody take out the guns and then leave them right there at the front of the house, like all just like perfectly stacked and organized? I don't know. The other officer the other officer talking to another said, something ain't right here, man. Something ain't right here. I'm telling you.
Red flag.
That's what he said. So, born in 1974, Darlene Doskil. Shit, every time. Doskocil. Grew up in Cameron, Texas. And of course, she was a beautiful woman. And she caught all the eyes of the boys. And she became a homecoming queen. She had a personality that just drew people into her. And, likely these are the ones that you think are the bubbly ones, and they are the ones that go. But she didn't go. She went somewhere else. So she ends up after high school, she goes to Texas State Technical College, TSTC. She becomes a dental assistant. This is where she meets Keith Gentry, who is also studying in drafting and welding. Darlene said that her first impression of Keith was his eyes. They must have been beautiful when you shot him. He also he had the most beautiful eyes. She was just immediately smitten. Friends described Keith as a fun guy and also a person who liked hanging out with his buddies, and he liked to do fishing and hunting and all that stuff. So after graduating in 1997, Darlene was ready to settle down, but Keith was not so ready. So she moved to Dallas, where she worked as a dentist. And after her car was stolen, she decided she's going to move back home. And this is whenever she and Keith started dating again. They're like, let's rekindle this. Okay. Keith was determined. I'm not going to let this girl get away a second time. Nope, I'm not. And I'm going to put a ring on it. And that's what he did. He proposed in 1999, and they were married shortly after that.
I mean, sounds like it's going to be nothing but a happy ending.
I mean, it's absolutely a love story.
Ideal.
It's basically Cinderella.
Yeah. Ideal.
Yeah.
He was probably captain of the football team, homecoming queen. Like, that's just, they're meant to be together.
It always works out.
Yeah.
It always does. They moved next door to Keith's parents.
Oh. That's where we went wrong.
That's where we had issue, I think. Moved next door to Keith's parents in Robinson, and Darlene decided, I think I'm going to nursing. Because why not? That's what you do. And everywhere. You go into nursing. And she was going to pursue her degree while Keith took a job as a traveling electrician in architecture firm.
Wow.
So shortly after, he has this new job, traveling electrician architecture firm, and then they decide they're going to start a family. Well, they have back-to-back boys, 3. Back-to-back, all 3. And Keith kept his job on the road half of the week, and Darlene, and obviously she had her hands full, but she's a nurse, she's still 3 kids, and they're really young, and they're close in age. So I'd be like, when does she start cheating? I don't know, but, that's just, but at least his parents are right next door. That's like built-in babysitter.
Yeah.
I hope you like them. But, just like I said, but having the Gentrys next door, it helped pick up the slack. Okay. So eventually Keith took a desk job, and he had to be close to home. He didn't really like it, and he also had to take a cut in his paycheck. And this pay cut,
she probably was a complaining mom. Like, it's hard to be a mom, like 3 kids, but she's probably one of those that like really didn't want to be a mom. She just wanted to. She thought she wanted the American dream.
Yeah, she wanted the picture.
Couldn't handle
of like,
it.
I have a family. I have all these things,
and couldn't handle it. So he had to give up his career. She's a crybaby.
Yes, because this is why it proves it. Because even though the pay cut happened, didn't stop her. Can't stop, won't stop. It had little effect on Darlene. She continued to spend the money and run up the credit cards. By 2005, after 6 years, the marriage started to show signs of strain. And friends and family were like, you could see a lot of problems starting, and they just didn't seem to be happy. But Keith was determined to stick it out, and Darlene, she had other plans. Her plans. Friends said Darlene would leave the boys with Keith's parents in the evenings and she would go out and party because there is such a big party scene in Robinson.
Ooh, yes.
But is this, do you know, okay, so is he like Mr. Perfect guy, or
I don't know.
I don't know. Because it seems like he was just living his life, doing his stuff, and then she just ruined it and ran up all the cards and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, November 9th, 2005, Keith Gentry has been shot once in the head with an entry wound, but not an exit wound with a bullet.
Damn, that was almost 20 years ago.
I know. We're so old.
Wow.
But he was still alive.
Oh.
Yeah, he was still alive. And he was rushed to the nearest hospital. So dispatch had reported that the incident was a home invasion, but when police arrived, they found no signs of forced entry.
Oh, you left a little detail out there, Darlene.
What did you do, my little pretty? No signs of forced entry, and the Gentry's glass gun cabinet did not appear to have been broken into, even though all the guns were laid outside all perfectly.
Outside? On the ground?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's where they go.
That's what robbers tend to do.
Yeah. So whoever took the guns and put them out had forgotten the keys from... No, they had gotten the keys from top of the cabinet to unlock it. So
they broke in, searched for the keys.
Yes.
Opened up the gun cabinet.
Yes.
And
took the keys.
They didn't take the guns to steal.
No.
And pawn.
No.
They just laid them out on the front yard.
Lawn. Yes. They're probably doing like selfies, and then they're like, "Oh shit, sirens! Let's go!" Like, "Oh, leave the guns." I mean, yeah, normal thing. So whoever took these guns had really done it in just an amazing way. Yeah. Police go on to say that, typically burglars don't shoot anyone unless they're caught in the act.
Yeah.
Okay, and there was no caught in the act, but Keith wasn't found sprawled in front of the gun cabinet. He had been shot in his bed.
In his bed.
What could they want from him in his bed?
Did she have any wounds?
I don't know, but let's see. The body cam footage captured the police on scene voicing their suspicion.
Oh, already.
They
off
said,
top.
"Something stinks about this, Gary." One cop says to another, "I think she did it," replied the other cop. That was the extent of the conversation.
Yes.
So Detective O'Connor and Darlene Gentry come down to the station to give a statement. She went willingly. She told police she wanted help. She wanted to help them with anything that she could. She told police that she had gone out the night before with a friend and got home between 8 and 9. She said her and Keith had a heated discussion the night that she got discussion when she got home that night about their finances and credit cards. And she told Keith she did not want to fight, so she left to go drive around. And when she got back, he had claimed that that they went to bed. She claimed they went to bed. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's exactly what happened. So Darlene gets up in the middle of the night, and one of her kids is sick, and so she goes to tend to one of the kids. Oh, it sounds like exactly the same thing that Corey Richards did. Interesting. Her kid was sick while she was poisoning her husband. She went to go stay the night with her kid that was sick in the other room.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Damn, I got a good brain. So she just went and stayed the night with that other kid. She stayed up with the kid while they were watching TV and before falling asleep in their room.
That was Darlie Routier's excuse too.
Wow. Yeah. I'm telling you, these D people, I don't know. So when she woke up, she got the kids up and she started their morning routine, and she noticed the back door was wide open. She caught a fright. What could it be? Why is it open? She thought she left it open when she went out in the night to throw out a dirty diaper. I mean, it sounds legit.
Yeah.
Yeah. She then saw an empty gun cabinet and yelled, "Keith, Keith, Keith," just like that,
Keith,
to wake him up. But Keith did not answer. No response. She went into the bedroom and noticed Keith's snore sounded a little different from how it normally sounds. So she turned on the light and she could see him breathing, but then noticed there was some blood, and called 911. Remember, she is a nurse. So, despite being a registered nurse, Darlene did nothing to help her husband and waited for the first responders, which typically, if you are a officer of the office, like if you're a nurse, an officer, a first responder type of person,
you know exactly what to do.
Yeah,
you know,
bitch.
To stop, to cover, I don't know, put compression on the wound to stop the bleeding. You do something.
Yep.
You do something. CPR.
So she didn't do anything. She just waited for the first responders. But those detectives made a comment. You know, they'd be commenting on the hot mic. And they said, even someone that's not trained in medical care with their spouse is injured, they're going to try to do something to help that person. She made no effort. No effort. But Darlene said she didn't know if she was in a fog or in shock. And the main thing she remembered thinking was just about the kids. Are the kids okay? Are they safe? So an hour into her interview, police got word that Keith was brain dead. And they drove Darlene to the hospital where she signed consent forms to take her husband off of life support.
Oh, immediately.
I mean, yeah. Why would you even think about that? Okay. So, off life support, and he died soon after that. Keith's dad said he never saw. Keith's dad, okay, because they're neighbors, said he never saw her actually really break down ever, in hard tears. She never had real tears in her eyes, never really mourned, and it just seemed not, everybody reacts different when we always talk about that, but he just thought it was a little odd for her typical behavior.
Yeah, maybe at first people do clam up and freeze,
in their shock.
Especially if you're the one that has to maybe make a bunch of decisions. But at some point, especially if it's your husband, it should hit you.
Yeah. And so, was I on that one? Nope. Yeah. So Darlene eventually returns to the police station later that afternoon to finish her interviews, and detectives had by then decided that she was the prime murder suspect.
Thank you. Good job, Robinson Police.
I know. Good job, Robinson PD. Can you give Waco and
Hewitt
Woodward?
couldn't do that with Matt
give Hewitt
Baker.
PD a couple tips, okay? So detectives decided that she was the prime suspect. There was no signs of the break-in. Darlene did not hear, with her not hearing anything, the ordinary stacks of gun outside, a burglary just did not make no sense. No, stop.
So this wasn't premeditated because that was very impulsive and unorganized and whatever.
I feel like it was. I feel like she thought she was just oh, I'm going to shoot him. I'm going to plan to shoot him.
But that wasn't a good plan.
Well, I know. I didn't say it was a good plan.
I think that they got in an argument and she just went in there, wait till he went to sleep and just shot him.
Well, then if she waited till he went to sleep, wouldn't that mean it's premeditated?
Well, I guess it wasn't
I mean, because it wasn't oh my God, and shoot him, oh my gosh, you're coming attacking me and I'm going to shoot you, and that's.
I was thinking, I don't think she knew the day before or a week before that she was going to shoot her husband that day because she would have had a better plan. I think it would have happened in the.
I don't know why.
That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Okay.
Well, then she's a dumbass if so, because that was a ridiculous plan. You had no.
Oh yeah, just wait till you hear what else happens, which you already know, but you maybe forgot.
I forgot.
Good. So Darlene soon realizes where detectives are going with these lines of questioning. The detective looks at Darlene and says, "I know what game you're trying to play." Yeah. And Darlene responded by saying, "I think I need an attorney."
Yeah.
Just like that. Which then police cataloged Keith's gun, they discovered that one was missing, a 9-shot .22 revolver that his father had given him. After performing an autopsy on him, police determined the bullet that killed him had come from a .22, though the slug they recovered was too badly damaged to match any gun. Over the next few days, police were searching for the murder weapon. How did they know that? Oh, they knew that the dad had given him the gun.
Yeah.
They didn't have the gun.
Yeah.
And they thought that bullet came from that gun, but they couldn't really determine that based on this case.
Because they didn't have the gun.
Yeah.
So
detectives were doing all the things, and they determined that what they thought was a plausible motive was Keith had 2 life insurance policies totaling around $750,000.
And what's so bad, she's probably so bad with money that would not even last her long.
Oh, facts. November 27th, 2005, police request a warrant for Darlene's arrest on suspicion of murder. Following her arrest, Keith's parents rallied around Darlene. So they were like Team D.
That breaks
They were
my
all
heart.
about the D. And they helped her raise $50,000 bail when she was out of jail. By that evening, Keith's dad said, "We had 100% belief in her that she did not do anything."
Listen, Mark, if anything happens to any of my brothers, not for 5 seconds am I going to be on my
In-law
and
side.
sister-in-law's side. Nope, none of them. I don't care. Just because I need them to prove you all the way innocent before. I'll be in the middle. I'll probably accuse them right off the bat.
Yeah,
but
most likely.
I'll at least be in the middle. Same thing with if something happens to Sweet Pea. Well, I don't know. My mother-in-law, she loves me. But I feel like you just shouldn't automatically just think, no, never could they ever.
Oh, yeah. No, you should always first think that.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So within weeks, Darlene contacted a friend of hers named Robert Pavelka, who's a local builder and real estate developer at the time. And she wanted to buy a new house. So she wanted to make a new start. The property he showed her had a pond next to it.
Wait, where was it? Was it in Robinson or was it in Axtell or something?
It just says the property. I don't, maybe I'll get to it. Let's see. She wanted to make a new start. The property he showed her had a pond next to it, which she said would be perfect for the children to fish in. And something that she said that Keith always wanted. But at the end of December, so that was November, right? So the end of December, when he met with Darlene to look over the land, she suddenly changed her mind. She still wanted the property, but now wanted the pond filled in.
Here's a red flag. He died November. Why are you moving it out the next month? Like, that is your home with him. All your memories are there with him. She just got that money.
She got to get rid of her evidence. She got to get rid of gun.
She got to get rid of the memories of her shooting him in that bed.
Yeah. And then they went to look at the property again in December, and she was like, "Hey, can you actually fill the pond in? Can you just take all the water out and make dirt in it, just make it go away?" And the dude's like, "I thought you said your kids love to fish, and this is great because your husband loved to fish, shoot, all the things." I'm confused.
Come on, DTF real estate agent.
Mm-hmm. So Pavelka thought it was a little suspicious.
Yes.
And he knew who she was and what she had been accused of. At that point, he called up old buddy at the old police station, Robinson PD, and he let him know. He's like,
the
"Hey,
real MVP."
He is the real MVP. He's like, "Hey, was y'all missing a murder weapon? Because this don't seem right to me. Because this pond was the main reason that this lady wanted this property. And now, all of a sudden, she wants me to fill it in and get rid of and drain it and fill it in and do all this stuff." And the detectives immediately were like, "Oh, hell. They suspected that she had used the pond to dispose of the murder weapon, and they called in a dive team. So then on January 4th, Steve Foster and the Texas Rangers said probably 10 to 15 minutes after getting into the water, one of the divers found the weapon. The weapon they found was Keith Gentry's missing .22.
Wow.
The puzzle pieces. Darlene Gentry's trial for murder for the murder of her husband began February 6, 2007. Her defense team seemed very confident in her chances for a full acquittal. And being that she was a pretty blonde mother of three, how could she commit this crime? How could she do it? With a gun, that's how she could do it. So with her good looks and Keith's family behind her, she presented well, and the prosecution's case seemed circumstantial at best. The prosecution's case rested on the inconsistencies in Darlene's story at the crime scene, as well as
the video footage,
as what she had done in the aftermath, and the incriminating video she had not counted on. Video.
Video.
Let's talk about the video. There was a little sting operation that she didn't know about.
This is the best.
So during the trial, Robert Pavelka, realtor, DTF, the informant? I guess he
was the informant.
Yeah. He takes a stand. He says police had asked him to tell Darlene that he would have to drain the pond before he could fill it in.
Oh, yeah.
But then if the water is gone, is the gun just sitting there? Yes. So Steve Foster of the Texas Rangers takes a stand and said that they set up a video camera in the brush in hopes that she would return and retrieve the gun.
And bitch does. And
soon after, Robert, the informant, talked to Darlene. Darlene? Yeah. And she showed up at the pond, and it's all captured on video. With waders on, she looks around, she gets in the pond, she starts digging around in the mud with a stick, looking for the gun.
Ugh. Listen, we have a tank. There's snakes. There's frogs. There's turtles.
I know.
And this ain't even
There's probably
her house
damn
yet.
sea monsters in there by now.
She was real desperate.
Oh, she put on them waders. Officers
like,
placed a large stick. Okay, they put a large stick to mark the spot where they found the gun in the pond. I guess I don't know if it was where they could see it, however, so that they knew where it was and could see, I guess, how close.
Because she would know exactly where to go because she knew where she threw it.
Yeah.
So they're going to be like, well, one, the fact that she goes, but even if she goes to that spot where that gun was, there's even more evidence.
Video captured Darlene returning to the pond, checking around to make sure no one would see her, started wading in the water, and goes directly to where the gun was found. When she couldn't find it, she became more frantic in her search and just started digging and digging and digging. But she couldn't find the gun because the police already had it.
I loved that idea.
The video footage of Darlene Gentry going to retrieve the weapon that killed her husband, Keith, was all the jury needed to make their minds up. The defense countered the video with nothing. Right? Yeah. The defense rested, I would think that's supposed to say the prosecution countered the video with nothing. Anyways, the defense got the video in. They rested without saying a word about the video. I guess they just showed it.
And then how can you, there is nothing else to say after that.
Oh, she's in shock.
And how can you not know about it? I thought you had to I thought each side had to know
sometimes
everything that you're
you have to
evidence.
enter some things into discovery. And there are some things that if it's like pictures, you have to show it to the other team or whatever. There are some things like they might have knowledge of that they don't have to necessarily share. I don't know how far that goes with like exhibits.
Yes,
As far as like
could the judge have
incriminating,
been like, throw it out?
well, I don't think so, because if they got a search warrant to do it and they did it right, then that
okay.
could be evidence and they can enter that in trial. I just don't know how they go about necessarily determining if it is thrown out or motion eliminate or whatever these words and discovery. And so that's what I was confused about, because I'm like, don't you just have to tell them what you have? Well, like Kohberger stuff right now, it's like people, it's just a whole shit show with Kohberger, but just like weird things aren't being turned over for no reason that should be, but then there are things that don't have turnover. So I don't know. I have to figure that out, because I've been wondering that recently. So Schmarlene was shocked after she saw the video. It took them, the jury, just 5 hours of deliberation to come back with a guilty verdict for murder. The following day, she was sentenced to 60 years in prison. She was unemotional as the verdict was read and took off her earrings before being taken into custody. Immediately after her trial, Darlene filed an appeal for a new trial, claiming the surveillance tape should have never been allowed in court. She says she heard a rumor that the gun had been thrown in the pond. She didn't want the cops getting it because she was afraid they would try to frame her, saying that she did it since she was buying the land.
Hey.
Following her conviction, Keith Gentry's parents won custody of
all the
grandbabies. And as part of a 2010 court order, Darlene is prohibited from having any contact with her children. She continues to maintain her innocence. In November 2017, Texas Court of Criminal Appeals denied her request for a new trial, that her murder conviction would stand. And then according to Texas Department of Criminal Justice, she will first be eligible for parole in 2037.
I was just looking that up. Wow.
Yep.
Wonder if she still thinks it's worth it.
She must serve 37 years before eligible.
And her projected release date is 2067. Wow.
2060 or 37?
Well, it says parole, and then it said projected.
Oh.
I guess if she's
eligible in 37, and then otherwise. Yeah. So there's your story of Darlene Gentry. How y'all like it out there, Robinson fans?
She with Yolanda Saldivar and Tammy.
Oh my gosh, I think she might be.
And Gatesville, I bet.
We have got to see.
She's in McLennan County.
Oh.
Or that's where offense history, McLennan County.
Unless she's in, I don't know. How did they determine that?
Wow. Good story. It's an original. Now, Matt Cawthorn, Texas Ranger Matt Cawthorn, was part of this and talked to us about. If you go back to one of the former episodes, he kind of told us about, but he was just like, she was money hungry. He wasn't making enough money for her, and she couldn't live the life that she wanted to live, so she got rid of him to get that insurance money. But then, this is rumor, is that you have a lot of people in Waco that also say that Keith was allegedly very abusive. But
we
it
don't know,
sounds
physically
like
or verbally. I would
physically,
okay.
And that she had had enough and like just snapped. But then why not come out with all of that when you're on trial? But allegedly that all came out like she was trying to save face. Like, yeah, I did it, but you know, he beat me all the time. But I don't think any of that came up in court. I think it's just her telling the people that she talks to.
Yeah.
But I guess we don't know.
The world may never know.
Okay. Good story.
There we go. Done and done. Love it.
Done. And we will see y'all next week for a whole new week of episodes.
A whole new week.
If you watch True Crime News, send me some stuff. Send us some nice stuff because I've had trouble lately finding
and
stuff.
whenever I get in trial, I get have trouble
You ignore.
diverting
Away from trial.
Yeah.
And Karen Reed's still going on?
Oh, it's a whole shit show. Yes, it's going on. It's still the state's case. And they're on week 6. They're on witness number like 53 or something out of like 80. And the judge said it was expected to last 6 to 8 weeks. Ain't no way it's going to be done in 8 weeks, but she's innocent. So that's all I care.
Yeah. Okay. We will see y'all next week. Don't forget to
Stay aware.
stay alive.
Always be DTF.
Like real estate agent Pavelka. Down to find the truth. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.